Welcome to Press Start Living. Today we're diving into a hot topic from Hong Kong, the city's new light public housing scheme. This initiative aims to build up to 30,000 units of transitional housing at Kai Tak and other locations, designed specifically to address the pressing housing shortage. The Chief Executive, John Lee Ka-chiu, in his first policy address, outlined a commitment to tackling the housing crisis with these new temporary flats that tenants can live in for 5 or more years. The plan is that by introducing these homes, the waiting time for public housing could be reduced from 6 years to 4.5 years by the year 2026 to 27. The first phase of the project will see most of the 17,000 flats built at Kai Tak. The Housing Bureau has been clear about the numbers and the urgency, given that as of the end of September last year, approximately 234,600 applicants were waiting for public housing. If you have got this far, please like and subscribe to share the video. However, there are concerns. Legislators are worried about the high costs associated with these temporary homes, which are only meant to be used for a short period. The construction of these temporary homes, which can be as small as 107 square feet and as large as 333 square feet, will be carried out by the Architectural Services Department on both public and private sites. These sites are reserved for long-term purposes, which means they aren't available for permanent housing. For example, a 140 square foot flat under this scheme will start at a rent of 780 Hong Kong dollars, while the largest home, adequate for up to 5 occupants and measuring 330 square feet, will cost up to 2,650 Hong Kong dollars per month. Priority for these flats will be given to those who have been on the waiting list for permanent public housing for 3 years or more, particularly those with families. After 2 years of construction and 5 years of use, these sites will revert to the Development Bureau for long-term commercial land use. Despite the good intentions, criticisms have been voiced. For instance, building these temporary structures, which could be 16 to 18 floors high, will cost about 680,000 Hong Kong dollars per unit, surprisingly close to the 650,000 Hong Kong dollars it costs to build a permanent public home. This has led to questions about cost effectiveness. Caesar Choi Luk Ching, from the LIBOR research community, pointed out the challenge of justifying such a policy without considering its financial efficiency, especially when the housing could end up in remote areas lacking essential community facilities and public transport. Furthermore, the government has yet to secure all the necessary funding, needing an additional 14.9 billion Hong Kong dollars out of a total of 26.4 billion from the legislature's Finance Committee. The Secretary for Housing, Winnie Ho, mentioned that about 70% of the components used in these temporary homes could be reused, hinting at future discussions about their potential uses, such as for storage, office spaces, or hostels. In defending the scheme, Chief Executive John Lee emphasized that this initiative is about more than just numbers. He stressed the improvement of living conditions for low-income groups, recalling the daily hardships faced by many who lack basic comforts at home. This scheme represents a significant step by the government to fill the gap in housing availability over the next decade, especially in the critical first 5 years. The broader goal is to improve living conditions and reduce waiting times for public housing, even if the approach and costs raise some eyebrows. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but one that requires balancing immediate housing needs against long-term sustainability and cost. Thanks for staying to the end. Check out my other videos on cost of living comparisons and life in Asia. Signing off from Press Start Living.